Guys, I am super excited about this, and this is my first club fitting ever. Kind of a little bit more of a boring video, but if you don't know why people play certain clubs or certain shafts, it's a great video for you. And I got fitted at Moon Golf in Florida. There's like 5 locations, I think. Got fitted by Sarah. She's awesome. She really knows her shit, guys. So if you're in the South Florida area, go to Moon Golf. They really know their stuff. They were super, super helpful and super knowledgeable too. I didn't have any game plan going in, and this is also 3 or 4 weeks after I got my set. So right now I'm playing so much better, effortlessly more controlled with my ball flight, just because of my fitting. Like, I didn't really know how much of a difference it was gonna make. We're gonna start with my clubs, right?
Yeah.
I got a question for you to get this started.
Yeah.
Why are these clubs probably not good for me? +1-ish, +2 kinda handicap. So I have P790s.
Yep. Everything we'll hit is gonna be a 7-iron. Let's see a few swings first, and then we'll kind of go into why that head probably isn't the right
Love it.
setup for it.
190, that's about right.
Now, when you're playing, what's the typical ball flight that you like to see, and what maybe a typical miss hit or?
Yeah, so that leads me to either straight block it, mostly with the longer clubs, or I'll hook it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
So that's the kind of shot shape you typically see, just a little tight little draw.
If I'm swinging it well, yeah. Yeah, that was a little heavy.
Do you ever find with those irons you get a little bit more rollout on the greens with them, as far as once they carry they kind of run out a little bit more, or?
The longer irons, yeah, definitely.
In an ideal world, we'd like to eliminate these shots right here, right? We don't want to see that kind of pull draw come into play nearly as much. That's kind of where that head, from a direction standpoint, is hurting you.
Really?
Yeah. So 790 is built for mid to higher handicap range, right?
Okay.
But it's got a little bit more offset, and it's got a little bit stronger lofts than maybe what we'd want you to play in. And so that extra offset, that stronger loft, club face starts turning over a little bit quicker, right? Because you're given more time than you need to square up the club face, because 99% of golfers, their miss is out to the right. For you, we need something that's smaller, less offset, not going to get that club turned over nearly as quick.
Yeah.
And then you're playing 120 extra stiff shafts. I'd like to maybe bump that up into something that's maybe a little bit stouter, a little bit heavier.
Okay.
Because normally we can start to get that ball flight moving just a little bit more to the right with something that's a little heavier, a little stiffer. Like, I'm not surprised that that's the ball flight you see, even with your club path. Like, you're 2 degrees from the inside. We shouldn't be seeing that, 15 or 20 yards left of the center line.
I get that hook all the time. And it's the most frustrating thing, because I feel like I miss it by a little bit. I just kind of I twist my wrist just a little bit.
Yep.
And I'm missing it 30 yards left.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's crazy miss. On a lot of courses, that's gone.
With that little draw you hit, you're gonna naturally produce a little bit less spin with that shot than somebody that naturally hits a cut.
Okay.
So now our landing angle, especially with the longer irons,
a little bit lower, right?
is coming in a little bit shallower. Yeah, we want to get you into a head that's less offset. It's going to spin a little bit more. You're probably going to lose a little bit of distance just because we're drawing it back, but you've got plenty of speed that we don't really need to hit a 7-iron right now, 190, right? Because then that probably creates a lot of gaps in the shorter, 150 and in. You probably have to get a little bit more creative with the shots you're hitting.
Yeah, because I got a pitching wedge and a 50 degree, and I used to have a 52, so it used to be a bigger gap. But I think my pitching wedge is like 43 degrees, and
around there.
My 50 is 50. So my pitching wedge, I can maybe get up to 150, and my gap wedge, I don't like to hit it more than 130, because then I kind of lose accuracy.
Gotcha. We're gonna go Titleist T100.
Done.
And then we're gonna go Dynamic Gold X100.
Oh, nice.
So right off the bat, launch is higher, spin is higher.
Is it higher, like it's in a good zone right now?
Yes.
That's what we want, that amount of spin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally indoors, you're gonna get a little bit less spin off of, turf, just because it's not the same turf interaction as grass. So in here, I want to see kind of low to mid 6,000s spin with your 7-iron. Because outdoors, that'll translate to about 65, 7,000.
And that's the ideal 7-iron spin you want?
Right about there, yeah. I mean, it's all player dependent, but at your speed, we want that little bit lower launch, higher spin.
Got it, okay. You can see it's like 10 yards less, but that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, so about a 175 to 180 carry instead of like a 190 carry. It's gonna land softer and go higher. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and we'll look at this is just kind of like a generic fairway, but you're only getting about 5 yards of rollout from here versus before. I think we were getting closer to
like 10
to
I think,
12.
right?
Yeah. So
okay.
This number right here, this landing angle number, so that's when the ball peaks, where it's actually coming down at as far as the angle of descent.
Yeah.
So you were 46 before, now you're averaging 51. So you're gonna land a lot softer, and you can even see where that peak height has gone up too.
What was the peak height for the other one?
98.
98, wow,
Yeah.
so that's like 20, almost 20 feet.
Yeah, about 15, 20 feet higher.
Wow, okay. But as far as the shaft goes, honestly, I would say it probably feels more like solid.
Okay. Not as much movement from it?
No, not really at all.
Okay. So still getting a little bit of that kind of left movement.
So what's the difference between that one you're putting on and this one?
So I'm going to put you in the Project XLS. So this is the shaft that's going to feel a lot stouter. You're not going to feel as much movement in the hands in the transition.
Okay.
So sometimes if we start to get a little bit too much of that feeling of, okay, the shaft is loading, that kind of feels like that almost like smother feeling of that club face closing. Like you don't have an overly aggressive transition, but you definitely...
I get quick.
You can get quick with it, and that's where we get that left from.
Yeah, so that's something I've been working on, is like the tempo control, especially at the top. That might be left too. That was ducked.
What are you feeling in that shaft compared to the last one?
Kind of what you said, like almost less whip. I feel at the top. Probably a little bit of a draw. Yeah, pulled.
So we're gonna go Modus 120X. So this is a shaft that from, I'd say the bottom half down is closer to the Project XLS that you just hit.
Okay.
But at the butt end of the club or the grip end of the club is a little bit more like the Dynamic Gold, a little bit softer, and then it gets really stout towards the mid and tip section of that shaft.
So what does that promote? Does that promote like just less whip at the top, or?
You're gonna feel it a little bit more at the top, but at the downs, at kind of right at impact, you won't feel nearly as much movement as the first shaft.
Got it, okay. That felt nice.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we might have found you the shaft.
I think we did. Might be a little bit left. But like that's not even that far left. It almost felt similar to the ones I was missing really far left before, but it just didn't go nearly that far left that time.
Yeah. And you can see where those starting lines are all bunched up together.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see when we look at, all the shots we hit versus Project XLS, I think, was just maybe a little bit too stout. Was Dynamic Gold, a little bit too much movement, and then this guy just kind of right in between.
Perfect.
So let's hit a couple different heads in that shaft.
Nice.
Kind of narrow down which one we're liking best. I think T100's going to be a really good option for us, but if there's one
I love the T100s, honestly.
Probably be one of the first people that have hit this club.
Cobra?
Cobra King, the cavity back.
The Cobra King CB that I'm trying out. I just did the Titleist T100, so it feels a little bit heavier, but that's not, not a bad thing. A little bit of a pull. This feels okay. I actually, to be honest with you, I think I like the T100 a little bit better.
Really?
The feel, yeah.
Okay. What are you noticing feel-wise? Is it softer or firmer? Or?
It's a little softer. This one, it feels a little bit heavier too.
Okay.
I like the little bit of a lighter feel.
Okay.
Yeah, for this one, it just feels like it takes a little bit longer to get the club down. And my swing issue is like sometimes my hips will get ahead of my hands. Mm-hmm. So if I can get the club down with my hands a little bit faster, I feel like it's more timed up.
Occasionally get a little stuck?
Yes. Definitely.
I feel like I'm talking to myself. And even just the speed that's coming off of it, it's getting a little bit more turnover than the T100 did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say right now T100 definitely in the lead. I mean, sometimes I get it right the first try. But let's go P7MC.
P7MCs. Nice.
It comes off louder.
It's a good strike. I just pulled the shit out of it. Huh. It didn't feel like a good strike, but that didn't feel like it was going that far left. Try to hit a fade here or something.
Strike's coming off a little bit more heel side right now.
More heel?
Same thing with that Cobra.
Oh, okay. Try to play a fade there.
I do want to check your wrist to floor measurement real quick.
What?
Your wrist to floor measurement for length.
Do you think the clubs are too long?
Potentially. Or at least maybe that because right now everything's kind of hanging out heel side, and even with your club, it's a little bit heel side.
Okay.
So grip down about a 1/2 inch on that club.
Impact felt good there.
Okay. Just stand up tall for me with your hands at your side. You've got long arms.
Yeah, my wingspan's taller than my height.
Yeah, you're like right at 31.5 on wrist to floor.
What's the average?
Normally around like 34 starts at kind of standard.
Oh, really? So I'm like 3 inches?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So could that also lead to that like early extension?
Yeah.
Maybe?
100%.
Yeah? Huh.
Yeah, because if you think you're standing further away from the ball than you should with that club, theoretically, because you're trying to make that club work for you.
Yeah.
So, one, you think something that's further away from us, we swing shallower, so we swing more from the inside, so more draws, more hooks.
Right.
And then from a contact standpoint as well, because now we're making a 7-iron, like what our 6-iron or maybe even 5-iron length should be at.
Gotcha.
So that might be where we're seeing, that heel strike coming in it's just a little bit long for us.
Should I choke up like an inch?
Let's go a 1/2 inch to start, yeah.
Because that 1/2 inch one was dead straight, and it felt good at least. I bet you if you look at the contact, it's probably more center face.
Yeah, closer.
Closer, yeah.
Yeah. How does that head feel compared to the T100?
I like this better than the Cobra, but I think I like the C100 a little bit better, to be honest with you.
Still favoring the T100.
Yeah.
That's it. And we're getting 177 carry before. This one's averaging 172, and we could see where the distance dispersion front to back is just not nearly as good as the 4 that we hit with the T100, which
those were good.
Is going to be pretty much impossible to beat. But
yeah.
I do kind of want to try you in just like a more traditional blade. I'm going to mark on this shaft where a 1/2 inch short is. It's easy to get stuck too, because now club is long, everything's just moving on such a flatter plane.
Yeah.
That if we can stand a little bit more over the ball, it'll get our plane just a little steeper.
I can shape it better too if I'm more over it. Right.
Yeah, because your path will start to zero out a little bit more.
Yeah.
It'll be more down the line. So we're gonna go 221 from Mizuno.
All right.
So this is their true blade. Oh, let me mark on that shaft where the 1/2 inch we want you to grip down on it is.
All official and everything. You know exactly what to look for. I would have never guessed. But all right, so I got the Mizuno
221.
Mizuno 221. These are like blades. Yeah, that felt good.
There you go. I mean, there's a reason the T100 is the most popular iron on tour. They can still shape the ball and hit the shots that they want.
Is it the most popular?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It is the most used iron on tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
More you know. Okay. That's gonna be left. That was stuck.
Now, I will say, you being a person that strikes it more on the heel, the more we get to a bladed club, or like more of a solid club, the more typically that center of gravity moves more a little bit into the heel. So that's why you see like the P790s and game improvement irons, they put weight into the toe to kind of create the true center of gravity or the true sweet spot in the actual center of the club.
Got it.
The closer you move to a player's club, the more that sweet spot kind of moves into the heel, because that's where the bulk of the weight of that head is at.
That's kind of where I've been striking it, kind of, right? Yeah. That was a good one.
I know which one my winner is.
T100?
Yeah.
I'm in.
And I do think going that 1/2 inch short, I think that's kind of where we need to be at with the setup. Like, do you
lose distance with that? I mean, not that I really care for the irons anyway, but does that make it stiffer? Does you lose distance? Like, what does that really do? Besides, obviously, me feeling more comfortable.
Right. So, I mean, if we look at those last shots that you hit with that club, you were gripping down on it. Your club head speed was 91.5 miles an hour. If we go back to the T100 with that same shaft, you were at 91.7.
Oh, so nothing.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in irons, a 1/2 inch, especially if we're able to move better and get the club through easier, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to get as stuck and everything like that. And now our strike is going to be closer to the center, so you're going to get more ball speed off of that strike. You'll probably end up, if anything, maybe gaining a little bit of distance.
Oh, that's a good point.
Just because you're going to be striking it better. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So
do you like the 1/2 inch or do you like more?
I would go half inch because
Okay.
you've been so used to playing just standard length clubs.
Yeah.
If we went a full inch,
Be too big of a difference right away.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'd rather start you at a half inch. You can always grip down if you need to.
Yeah.
And kind of play around with that, but I don't want to give you something that's so totally different. What are we working with the driver?
So I definitely need a stiffer shaft. That I
Okay.
know. So I am working with a Hazardous Smoke X-Stiff shaft.
Okay.
It says low spin, 70 gram, 6.5. I guess that's the stiffness, right?
Yep.
And then whatever the blue is, 2.8 degrees.
Okay. And torque.
I don't know. Torque, okay. Because I never really knew what that meant. The TaylorMade Stealth head.
Overall, how do you like that head?
I actually been hitting the driver pretty well.
Okay.
So I don't hate the head. I had the Sim 2 that it broke, so that's why I got the Stealth.
Okay.
Oh, that's left and low. Not a good swing.
So you feel with that shaft that you're still getting a little bit more movement than you'd like?
Yeah. That was low in the face too, I think. That's left. Oh.
And you're swinging at 117 club head speed right now, averaging 146 on smash factor. So I mean, we're maxing out. We could definitely get it close to that 180 number unless we start just swinging a little bit faster. I mean, 146 with smash factor is still really good.
Yeah, I don't need to like push it any more than I am. I'd rather just honestly be in the fairway.
So that's
This
the
is
Ventus Black TR 7X.
Okay. So it's pretty much kind of similar to the one I was hitting.
It's the same weight and it's the same flex, but it's definitely a different shaft.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, it's way out right. Oh, did it miss?
Oh, I got it. I just didn't get the club data. But
Oh,
it's a 15 launch, 172 ball speed.
that felt good.
And that one was 2,500 spin and still
that's
went
the ideal spin?
317. Yeah.
That's low in the face.
How does that club head feel?
Club head feels good.
Okay.
I like it.
All right.
I like the look of it too.
Okay. Let's stick with that club head, but we'll switch up the shaft.
All right.
So we're gonna go Acura TZ5 70X.
Ooh. Might be right. Yeah.
And your driver's standard length as well?
Yeah. That was good.
A little spinny on that one, 3,300.
That felt a little bit low in the face, but I just felt like balanced on that one.
Now I have that, as far as the weights go in that club head, it's set up with the heavier weight in the toe to kind of slow down the rotation of the face.
Oh, okay.
So if we feel like we don't need that as much because we're kind of wanting to naturally create a cut.
Yeesh.
What'd you feel on that one? Just turning the hands over a little bit more?
Yeah. Yeah, it was quick at the top too.
Thoughts on that shaft so far compared to the last one?
Honestly, I think this is probably the best feel out of all three of them.
Okay. I was gonna say that's about as good as you could hit it there.
Huh. Funny, after it came off the face, I was like,
Didn't feel right?
I didn't feel like I hit it like directly centered,
Okay.
but I guess I did.
We're gonna go Hazardous Green, which is basically it's the new version of what you have in your club now.
Got
So
it.
it's a little bit different. It's gonna feel a little bit heavier in the handle.
Oh, it's gonna be left. Really?
Good miss.
Really good miss. So these weights, it's not.
So it's
on the
fade
heel?
bias, yeah.
It is
yeah,
fade bias?
So it's got the heavy weight in the toe. Yeah.
I might like that. A little low in the face. Yeah.
Okay. Low in the face, a little spinny, but it's definitely your starting line is a little bit tighter than it was with the last one, and you're pretty much at the same ball speed with that one as well.
Yeah, 172. Yeah, no, this one, I like the heavier.
Okay.
I like the heavier for sure.
70X. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's stick with that shaft, and
like
let's
that.
try the Paradigm driver. Also, I think you might be the first person in here to one arm at 333, so.
Really?
So I want to put you in the 8-degree triple diamond head to start. Okay. So I want to see where that brings our ball flight at.
Eesh. Yeah. I like the way it comes off the face better than the Aerojet.
Okay.
But I think the Aerojet comes out a little bit more on my line. Starting left.
Does it feel like that club sets up square to you, or is it a little closed, a little open?
Maybe it sets up a little closed. It doesn't feel like that, but they're starting left. Might be left too. Oh, no, it's not.
Okay.
It's low in the face. Really, that started left too, huh?
I don't think we really like the paradigm too much.
No.
We'll go stealth 2.
Okay. Yeah, a little fade. That one started online though.
I think the one thing that's just really hard to beat right now is with that Aerojet, you just didn't really get any curvature out of the golf ball. Like,
I just love that.
Everything else that we've kind of been seeing, we get a little bit more from it, either the left or we're getting the cut. When we look at the shadows with the Aerojet, and you can see like there's just barely any sort of movement, even when you did pull one.
Can we throw that back on this one?
Yeah. Get a couple
just a couple more swings, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the club.
That's fine. I'm good. Dang, rolls out to 270.
No.
Like whenever my driver's not working out, I hit this off the tee. I don't even hit my 3-wood. I like this too, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now the distances are all pretty consistent, and it's actually got a.
That last one was off the ground, not even on a tee.
Yeah. Do you like that kind of a little bit of a smaller head shape for a utility iron?
Yeah.
'Cause that's definitely on the smaller side. For
I definitely like that look. I don't like the fat heads.
Okay.
Like that, yeah. Honestly, that's fine.
Yeah. And that's spinning 3,600, and your landing angle with that club is higher than what your landing angle was with the 7-iron.
Really?
With your your T797 irons, yeah.
So is that too much spin, or is that what you want?
If you're going to be hitting that into a green,
that's what you want into a green, yeah.
Yeah.
But not really off the tee.
Yeah, yeah. If you were hitting it off the tee, then that's where I'm like, okay, I kind of want that lower 3000s number. But if this is, I'm going for it in 2, or if I want a really specific carry distance, and you don't want a ton of rollout, you want that higher spin rate. Here, let's try it real quick, just setting it a little lower.
So you lowered this?
I did, yep, it's 1 click low.
So now it's 14 degrees. That felt good. It's still got good height too. Could be left. No. Like I'll take that all day.
When it comes to wedges, is your divot pattern a little deeper or shallower?
Deep.
Deep?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll go the 12 bounce then for that. I don't want to go.
Really? So actually, funny enough, my wedges gets standard, those shafts anyway.
And then with the wedges too, we'd be going a 1/2 inch short on those as well.
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
Really? Really? They don't feel like they're going left.
Here, let me double check this target, make sure it hasn't moved on us since we've started hitting.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Ooh. It's gonna be like 120, 118, 115. Yeah, that was a shitty shot.
So this has the Dynamic Gold S400 shaft. Okay. So it's going to be heavier than what that SM9 wedge shaft is going to be. But it's got a little bit of a softer tip section, so it can get a little bit more spin. So especially when you're playing those half shots and little finesse shots around the greens.
Kind of just stop.
Yep.
Nice.
Get a little bit more.
It's like I didn't even know you could get more spin with a different shaft, or less spin with like wedges.
Yeah.
It's just so much crap. I never knew, because I just bought those off the rack at my old job. That was a not good swing. I like this shaft actually.
So you can see your
Is it getting more spin?
91, now you're at 93.
Okay.
A little extra spin, and it's actually coming off a little bit lower.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
I like to kind of have, I'd rather us, if we're going to manipulate launch and spin, get the launch a little bit lower, spin
right.
a little bit higher. Just because when you're hitting a wedge shot, you don't really want to float stuff up in the air.
No.
And especially if you're playing in the wind or anything like that, with a wedge in your hand at that much spin, who knows what the ball's going to do?
No,
So we could
I
flight
agree.
it a little bit lower, but get a little bit more spin to kind of retain that nice ball flight. I'd rather see that.
I like that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Basically, my whole set now consists of the Cobra driver with the green hazardous shaft. Love that thing. I got 5th for the fade, and I ended up changing it back to neutral because when I was playing on the golf course, I was missing it like way too far right, too often. Now I'm hitting it much better. Titleist T100s, I went with the Modus X shaft. Absolutely love them. They don't really fly high, and they're way more consistent. I'm not missing as far left like I was in the P790s. And then I threw what I ended up keeping because I had a better smash factor with that than the driver. So I was hitting that great, and you can see that a little bit in the video. And then with the T200 2-iron, it has a little bit of a smaller head than my old 2-iron, so I really like that, and I'm hitting it great. And with the wedges, I went with Titleist Vokies, of course, and I went with the Dynamic Gold S400 shaft. So now I'm hitting it a little bit of a lower launch and getting more spin. And again, I said it in the video, I don't even know the shafts affect the spin and the launch really that much. I was like, I feel like it's just a little stiffer, but I guess it affects a lot. But again, thank you so much for Moon Golf for making this happen, and thank you to Sarah for actually doing the fitting. I'm gonna tag all their stuff below. Make sure you go check them out. And if you're in the South Florida area, I think there's a couple of other locations outside of Florida, like one in Auburn, Alabama, and I think another one somewhere else. I don't really know. They really know their shit, so if you're around to Moon Golf, make sure you go get fitted there and ask them questions because they're super helpful, super knowledgeable, and they're definitely gonna take care of you. So I will see you in the next one.